Hey everyone, my name is Charlie Ifra and welcome to my podcast. Today I'm going to talk about technology and human evolution, and I'd like to talk about the world of atoms and the world of bits. So traditionally, and when I say traditionally, I mean since the beginning of time, when human beings thought of technology, they thought of physical things. So humans have been building technology since the beginning of time. When humans invented the wheel, that was a form of technology. Human beings have also invented the calendar, we invented the compass, we invented concrete, we invented paper, we invented the clock, we invented the printing press, we invented the steam engine. These are all physical technologies that are made up of material, or we can call it atoms, the world of atoms. More recently, maybe in the last 50 years, last 50 to 100 years, we started building technologies that are digital. This is the world of bits. The computer language is, the computers speak in bits. And so we now live in a world of atoms and in a world of bits. And what I'd like to describe to you today is that the world of bits is equally as real as the world of atoms. And this is something and a mindset that we really all need to wrap our heads around, because the future is only going to become more and more digital and more in the world of bits. As a matter of fact, anything that's physical today that can be dematerialized into bits will. And so I want to give you a few examples, because you're probably saying to yourself, Charlie, how could that be? But I really want to explain it in a very simplified way and use real life examples that will help us to wrap our heads around the world of bits and how technology is really moving in that way, and how everything that is physical and is possible to be dematerialized to bits will. So let's talk about how we replaced handwritten letters with Microsoft Word. So we used to write letters and then we had typewriters, but now there are no letters, there is no physical paper necessary. You could simply write a Word document and it lives in a file, and that's not physical, it's purely digital or electronic, but it's just as real as your paper letter that we had in the past. We also replaced our filing cabinets with Windows and Mac file managers. We replaced the Postal Service with email. We replaced the Yellow Pages with digital directories. We replaced banks and tellers with online banking. We replaced Blockbuster with Netflix. I mean, think about Blockbuster. This is an amazing thought. Blockbuster had thousands of locations, these huge big box locations that had parking lots and shelves, hundreds of shelves with thousands of movies, physical movies, where people would have to drive to a Blockbuster, pick their movie, check it out, drive back home, play it, rewind it, bring it back. And now every single one, actually I think there's one Blockbuster left in the world. I think it's more for like fun than anything else. But Blockbuster ceases to exist, and the reason is because it was dematerialized into Netflix. There is no need for any of that physical stuff to exist, because you have Netflix and it could stream simply a digital file to you and play the movie, if probably in better quality than what we used to see at Blockbuster. Other examples are the shopping mall. I mean, the shopping mall was dematerialized into Amazon. We replaced libraries with our Kindle. I mean, think about the New York Public Library. That building is enormous and it has millions of books in it. And today, you can have the entire New York Public Library on a Kindle. You can hold it in your hand. We replaced photos with JPEGs. We replaced the entire encyclopedia with Wikipedia. We replaced our town squares with Twitter. We replaced our community center with Facebook and Instagram and our social media. We replaced bars and clubs with Tinder. We even replaced all of our physical wires with 5G and Bluetooth. And now we're replacing our art and paintings with NFTs. And so These are just very clear examples in our day-to-day life where there are things that we used to be so used to as purely physical and material, and now we experience them all in the digital world, in the world of bits, and they're just as real as when they were physical. And that's something that's really important for everyone to keep in mind, because this is just the beginning. Every single thing in the world that's physical, that can be dematerialized into bits, into digital, will. And you might tell me, Charlie, you know, the chair you're sitting on, for example, it's physical, it's made of atoms, and I will say to you, true, and you're going to say to me, but that chair could never become digital, because you're physical, I am, and your chair needs to be physical in order for you to sit on it. And I would say, you're right. But here's something to think about. This chair will be dematerialized up until I need it. And I'm going to explain to you what that means. If you think of a chair not as a physical object, but as a piece of information, the information does not need to be physical. As long as it's information, it can be a file. So since the beginning of time, people have been sitting on chairs. And, you know, after sitting on a chair for long enough, someone probably said, you know, it's not that comfortable, so let me add some cushioning. And then someone else said, let me add a backrest. Then someone probably said, let's add some arms to this chair so it can be even more comfortable. Now, all these ideas are information. And so imagine the design of a chair. There could be millions of chair designs. Those are just pieces of information, and those all can live in a file. They can live in files, and they can stay as digital. And instead of me ordering a chair and some factory in China needing to be built in order for them to make my chair, there are people collecting materials to put together the chair. Once the chair is assembled, it gets put on a truck. The truck then goes to a port where it gets put on a ship. The ship crosses the ocean, docks at another port. Then the chair goes onto another truck, to a warehouse, and then finally to my home. But if you think about that, that chair does not need to go through that experience at all. That chair could live as a digital file up until I need it. So I can go on my computer, I can browse a bunch of chairs. When I find the information, the file that describes the exact chair that I want, I can simply hit print. Now in the future, every single one of us are going to have 3D printers at home that are going to print everything that we need. It's going to print our chairs, our desks, our kitchen appliances. Probably our electronics will also get printed. Our smartphones might get printed in the future. And so the way you need to think of anything material is as information. And unless it needs to manifest itself into the physical world, it just needs to live on a file or as a piece of information. And if you think about it, there is a beauty to it, because we know that we're up against a lot of environmental issues in our world. A lot of it has to do with trucks and ships and fuel and everything else that's polluting our world, and we no longer will need that. We no longer will need all of that. We will be able to simply have almost like a godlike power in where we can manifest things before us simply by thinking about the information necessary to make the product that we need. Now, of course, it eventually will become physical, but if it doesn't need to be, it won't. And back to what I was describing before, music does not ever need to become physical again. We never need DVDs to watch movies. We never need CDs to listen to music. We never really need postal service to deliver a letter. Because all of it happens digitally and all of it happens electronically. So the point of this podcast is to just bring everyone up to speed into the thinking that we truly live in a hybrid world of physical and digital, or in a world of atoms and bits. And I want everyone here to think about their day-to-day lives and think about all the things and experiences that you do, and understand and realize how and where the future is going. I believe it's a very promising future, so it shouldn't worry any of us, but also truly understand that something that is digital, just because you can't touch it, it doesn't mean that it's not just as real as something that's physical. Anyways, on that note, I'm going to let everyone go. I hope everyone has a great holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy New Year. I'm going to take a little bit of a break until the new year, but in the first week of the new year, I'll release another podcast. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.